So it looks like DOMA and Proposition 8 are back in the news, which has sparked an incredible amount of internet debate and subsequently a whole bunch of bright red equal signs everywhere. And in traditional Mo Biscuits fashion, I allowed myself to get wrapped up in the debate as well. Some of the arguments I'm hearing against this, they're just ludicrous. It seems the biggest argument against gay marriage is that marriage is already defined as a union between a man and a woman. I want to know, defined by who? Okay, because if it's defined by the Bible, which I understand it is, you can't use that to make a law. See, there's this thing called separation of church and state. If you're going to use the Constitution's definition of marriage and say, it's defined in the Constitution as man and woman, and it has to stay that way because the Constitution says so. The Constitution for almost 200 years had racial segregation, abolished alcohol, and treated women as inferiors. So things are subject to change within the Constitution. I fail to see the logic in saying, well, the Constitution says so, so it has to stay that way. That's just me. I also had a lengthy conversation with a friend of mine who is 100% against gay marriage. He says, let them get married, just call it something else, and they can still have all the same benefits and everything else that they're asking for. Which, I must admit, that does beg the question, why not? Why not call it something else? Just as much as there's an argument against allowing gays to be married and call it a marriage, why is there such a pushback from the other side not wanting to call it something else, I guess. Not willing to call it a civil union or whatever you want to call it, as long as they get all the same legal rights and benefits regarding children, rights of survivorship, Social Security, medical benefits, those types of things. If somebody out there has an answer for me, please let me know. But some of the arguments that he used was, one thing he said was, I don't want gays to get married and have that change what I have with my wife. Let's say two guys are living together and they hold a piece of paper that reads pretty much the same thing that yours does, and that is going to change your marriage. Chances are there's a little bit of a lack of stability there anyway. There seems to be a lot of people who are against gay marriage who like to bring up the marrying farm animals concept, and I have yet to hear anybody actually expressing a desire to marry farm animals. I'm not saying it's totally out of the question, but Jesus, we're comparing apples and carburetors here. It's really just, it's a completely invalid argument as far as I'm concerned. Then you have the argument that if we start allowing gay marriages and open gay relationships and gay adoptions, then that's just going to completely destroy the traditional family unit. I think the traditional family unit is already destroyed. Over half of the marriages today end in divorce. Well over half of the children born today are born out of wedlock. Domestic abuse, child neglect are all on the rise. I really don't see where gay marriage is going to be a detriment. So one of the things they are pushing in the Supreme Court right now is, I forget the guy's name, I think Cooper is his last name. He said that marriage is defined as, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he basically says marriage is between a man and a woman, reinforcing the procreative nature of marriage. In other words, saying that it's between a man and a woman because a man and a woman actually have kids. Now, if we're going to talk about the procreative nature of marriage, that whole argument I think actually has gone right the fuck out the window too, because nobody's getting married anymore to have kids. Or what about the people who are married, who can't have kids, who adopt? There's no procreation going on there, so maybe they shouldn't be allowed the same the same benefits and the same rights as a regular married couple who actually can have kids. If you're against gay marriage because you're against gays, then just say it. Everybody's entitled to an opinion, and yeah, you'll probably be called a bigot and a hateful person or whatever, but your belief is your belief. I've been called worse too. Just stand by it, grow some nuts and don't go, oh, I have no problem with him, I'm going to be politically correct, I just don't want to see him get married. Because it doesn't matter what kind of legal arrangement they're in, you know, Prop 8, DOMA, none of that is going to stop, you know, one guy from sticking his junk in another guy's face. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like what you heard, go ahead and click that subscribe button down there somewhere. I'm looking at the camera backwards, so I don't know where it's going to be. But it's down there somewhere. Click that subscribe button. If you didn't like what you heard, click the dislike button and leave me a comment anyway and still subscribe, because, you know, there's just not enough hate to go around in this world. Share it with your friends. And then click this thing right here. I don't know what I'm going to put there yet, but I'm going to put something right here because I'm just learning how to use this YouTube thing.